After a few quite testing months in 2025, we finally come to a period of blessing, of ease and harmony. May 2025, I have good news for you. We went through Mars, Venus, Mercury retrograde, 2 eclipses, Saturn, Venus conjunctions, very intense influences in the last 3-4 months. But now we're gonna take a breath of fresh air and relief. As you can see, most of the transits and aspects between planets in May are harmonious, trines, sextiles. There are here and there a square, but it's very minimal compared to what we've been going through. We're like a soldier coming out of a battle. And we'll be in the month of May, we'll be recovering, recuperating, improving. Things will start looking up. We're out of the hardest period of 2025. So with this good news, we're gonna have a full moon in Scorpio with opposition with Uranus around the 12th of May, which might be a bit more excitable, unpredictable, intense, like the energy of Scorpio, but pretty much everything around it is fantastic. But the biggest event in May is that towards the end, on the 25th of May, Saturn is moving to Aries for the first time since 29 years, the 1995, 6, something like that it was then. In Aries again, and it will stay there for 3 months this year, and then 26 and 27, the whole 2 years it will be in Aries. So this video will focus on how Saturn, the bad big wolf of astrology, how you can tame it, how you can turn it into a loyal dog that will guard your back and to thrive through this period. So stay with me to see how Saturn will affect you. Actually, if you want to really dive into Saturn in Aries, I've created a 3-hour video plus around 40 pages PDF that covers absolutely every possible influence of Saturn in Aries. Say if you have Venus in Gemini, Saturn will try sextile it. Or if you have Libra, Jupiter, Saturn will oppose it. Or if you have Cancer, Moon, Saturn will square it. What are the influences on a personal level with many real life stories and remedies and how to overcome it and how to do the best out of it. Just $12. Check it out. I always try to be as affordable as possible. But now let's begin. I'm excited. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, May 2025. Scorpio, you're highlighted this month. There is a full moon in your sign on the 12th of May, which means you take the spotlight in the middle of the month for a week. Somehow, eyes will be on you. Somehow, you'll be asked to make some decisions of some sort. And it might get a bit more emotional with the full moon in your sign, but also you would have really striking intuition to figure out what is right and what is wrong. Because the moon is super intuitive, Uranus is opposing this full moon in Scorpio, and it will allow you to take decisions, especially very quickly with lightning speed. Uranus to cut someone off, or something that is no longer needed in your life, or how to change and innovate something that's already existing in your life, but to upgrade it. What you need to change and correct there, because Uranus allows you to make those quick changes, and the full moon allows you to see what needs a bit of adjustment and improvement. But also, full moon in your sign can mean that some project you've been doing, something you've been working on, can give its fruits for you now in May. You can reap the rewards, or something might be ending, completing, not in a bad way. More like here it is, here is the light, it's the most it can light up and shine. So there it is. Here are your rewards for it. But also because full moon in your sign happens exactly 6 months after the sun has been in your sign, usually starting a new cycle in your life. And now it's like the halfway between the next time the sun is in your sign to renew you with a new program, with new ideas, with new direction in life. And this full moon kind of is like a midterm, halfway checkup with reality. And how am I doing so far? Do I need some kind of adjustment, correction of plan? But also it's very productive. This halfway period is one of the most productive for Scorpio. Sun in particular, they can feel it very strongly. And ascendant and moon, it's kind of this the life force of the moon, the full moon. The moon is full in your sign once per year only, around May. So this is very productive period for you. And initiating, activating period. But of course, you have planets in the seventh house with the Sun and Uranus there. So there is some important developments with relationships for some of you that might happen. Sudden realizations. Sun will conjoin Uranus around the 17th, 18th in your seventh house. Sudden realization about a relationship, sudden development in a relationship, sudden activation of you through another that happens, or finding out something as well. Or it might be something surprising and positive, not drama. And Venus is in your sixth house the whole month, maybe improving your situation at work, making you enjoy work, making you enjoy health routines, exercise, healthy smoothies, supplements. Venus makes this pleasant. Or if you had some health situation complicated, it starts resolving now. Venus moving direct in your sixth house. If you had some antagonistic relationship in your career, in your work with workmates, or some sticky situation or stuck situation with your work project, or with some duties and responsibilities, this all starts getting resolved and moving forward. And Mars is in your 10th house the whole month. Scorpio 10th house is another productive house of work, of duties, of responsibilities, of career. You can be very proactive, and you are Mars. Wherever Mars moves, you invest a lot of yourself there. You can invest yourself a lot to be active, to get things done. You'll be very visible this month, the planet that rules you in your 10th house. Your actions will be visible, so try to have good actions. You can get a lot done at your work, move forward, come closer to deadlines, see. And Mars was retrograde before in your 10th house. Again, if there was any complications with career, with work, with authority figures, with institutions, it starts getting resolved in May. But also it makes you very ambitious, driven in work, in career, or to get things done. 10th house is overall action. Mars there is the most productive and strong position when it transits the 10th house, to be active, going, and so on. But the biggest event is that Saturn is moving into your 6th house. It's been into your 5th house, which is a little bit of a Debbie Downer, Saturn in the 5th house for the last 2 years. 5th house is the house of joy. Saturn is, with blanket energy there to enjoy life, to the heart chakra there, to be connected to the flow of life. And Saturn is moving. Good. I mean, you start enjoying life more. Saturn will be out of your 5th house for 3 months till September, and it will go into your 6th house. Then it will come back again into your 5th house, and your romantic life is also the 5th house. Saturn might have been blocking it a bit, or making it more, a bit stuck, or let's say of having fun as well is not as easy when Saturn is in the 5th house. But moving into the 6th house, that energy will go away from you, and Saturn will stay there till 2028. So bookmark this video and maybe watch it a year from now or 2 years from now, when Saturn is fully transiting your 6th house. You'd get to dip your toes now for 3 months, June, July, and August, of Saturn in your 6th house. And Saturn is really compatible with the 6th house. So it's definitely, I think it's easier influence of Saturn in the 6th house than Saturn in the 5th house, especially on your spirit, your self-expression, to be more confident, to be more joyful, to have it easier with children, to have it easier to shine to others. And going into the 6th house, Saturn will make you more conscientious with work. Saturn wants you to, for example, it's an auditor. So are you wasting a lot of your efforts in areas that are unproductive with work? So that can be a great time for the next 2-3 years to streamline your work processes, to automate them in some way. Instead of you answering every email by hand, maybe, I don't know, do something that will make it, Saturn is about making it more elegant, streamlining your work process, removing and prioritizing, removing, if you're doing at work or at home, your daily routines, how you do your work, how you do your errands, to make them a more effective, to make them more, what's the word, productive, essentially, instead of wasting time. So you can, I remember when Saturn was transiting the 6th from my moon, I was like, it's enough, I'm not gonna, to make a personal horoscope would take me 2 days, because I go very deeply, and I would answer each the emails by hand, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna prioritize to the things that are really most important in my work. So I stopped doing personal horoscope. I thought the most important work for me was to do videos so more people can see it. I saw which was the most effective work for me, and I outsourced because 6th house is also to outsource, to hire someone to do the work for you, for example, so you can focus on the really important things. Outsource my emails, administrative tasks, so it really elegant, streamlined, remove the unnecessary things from your work process. And even if you don't work, it can mean that you start working now. 6th house is duties, responsibilities, service. Saturn going there, maybe you've been stay-at-home mom and Saturn moves into your 6th house and you get very serious about getting back into the workforce. So that's very good for Saturn in the work house, but it means you have more duties and responsibilities. Even if you work, Saturn in the 6th house can make you more dedicated to your work, more committed, take on more work, sometimes even workaholic. And this is the house of the disciple, so you want to be more perfectionist during that time. Just don't get yourself sick with too much work and trying to make sure that every detail is perfect, but putting efforts in those directions is the right way for you now. To hone your craft, to hone your skills. It's a good time to study as well. It's a naturally mercurial, Virgo-ish house. It's about perfecting, or if you already have existing knowledge, systemizing it and using it in a more effective way, Also putting order in your life when Saturn is in the 6th house. You'll be much easier, and would really be more willing to cope with the boring parts of life, scheduling, planning, organizing. It becomes natural and you learn to do it. And if you're not natural at that, this is when you master those skills of planning, of keeping it clean around, because Saturn is the cleaner. 6th house is Virgo energy. Keep clean, keep organized. To organize your desk, to organize your home, to organize Saturn rules your 4th house, home and family. Saturn rules your 3rd house, your knowledge, your information, to systemize it, to make it, to extract the most useful of your knowledge and your skills, abilities, to systemize them and put them to work for something, for service, more productively. It's great for managers, it's great for auditors, it's great for people in any white collar work, but definitely it's like a person can become a bit workaholic, put effort into work, and if you're not in the right employment or job, problems will appear. There will be blockages, you're not gonna be getting along with workmates, they will be giving you the ungrateful job or not recognizing it for you, or to be getting like dissatisfying for you there, and that will be a sign for you when Saturn transits the 6th house that maybe you need to change jobs, because Saturn Day is about restructuring and making it more aligned to what is, rather than wasting time of your life. So sometimes it's about changing a job into one where you have more commitment, or if you're becoming more neglectful towards your job and you realize that you don't have passion in it, again finding the one where you'd be willing to burn the midnight oil, where you'd be willing to put the efforts. Sorry. Also 6th house is to do with, we said job, work, debt. If you have debt, it's good time, and it's great time when Saturn is in the 6th house to consolidate this debt, maybe to start taking care of it, to end it, to slowly pay it off, and within 2-3 years you might be even to really take on the task, because Saturn likes to take on like, let's get it done, let's get it finished. I will tighten my belt for 2-3 years, I'll pay out this debt, for example. Or you want to be a AI master, Saturn in the 6th house. Okay, I'll dedicate a couple of years to really master this, to be the disciple, 6th house disciple, to be the student, so I can serve after that with this knowledge, with this information. 6th house is also health. Now, sometimes Saturn here can indicate that chronic health issues you become more aware of them, but it's only if some kind of chronic health issue appears. Saturn will allow you to manage it and control it better. Maybe not fully get rid of it, but to moderate it better, to maintain it better, to find workable solutions for it, for this health situation, whatever it might be. So maybe, and Saturn in the 6th house allows you to be better with your diet, to be better with exercise, to be better with anything, especially to maintain your health better, because Saturn is discipline. It will really infuse you with determination, consistency, and discipline to follow through on a workout routine, if you're doing on some health improvements, if you're doing. Actually, the best thing that I always seen with Saturn in the 6th house, especially from the ascendant, I've seen it very often, from the sun and moon, maybe from the moon as well, is that the person is able to overcome unhealthy habits and stick with it for life. Because sometimes I've seen people stop smoking for a few months, then start again, stop doing something for a few months, then come back on it. But when you stop something, when Saturn is in the 6th house, I've seen it consistently that it stays for them for life, or at least for a long time. It's also the time to lay foundations for new, healthier habits. And so I've seen, so my sister-in-law passed through that a few years ago. She stopped drinking and hasn't touched since then, and her life has been amazing. And she tried for 10 years before that to do it, didn't work. But Saturn in the 6th house, bam. I've seen people stop any kind of other, being able to stop even medications that are, prescribed legally, but they were able to, like for mental health or whatever, they were able to stop them, wean themselves off gradually. Because you have the consistency, and people are much more, when Saturn is in the 6th house, they start adding supplements, and they become very, because maybe you were aware of supplements, but you were never consistent. You took one vitamin today and then one a week from now, but Saturn gives you the consistency to do the best for your health. My husband just went through Saturn in the 6th house. He's been so consistent with his health routine now. So consistent, so regulated. Even with bad habits, he's been able to regulate them much more in control with them, to the extent where it's no longer a difficulty for him. So it's like, now I don't need this as much, or I don't need to do that, or so this is what Saturn is, the power of postponing immediate gratification for some long-term goal. It will give it to you the power to say no to unhealthy things when it's in the 6th house. Also the power to say no, and also to work out, to be consistent with working out, for example. That's fantastic. Do it. Also the power to postpone gratification because you're working on something. 6th house is to work, to service, to give service to another, because of, you need to grind. 6th house is not the most glamorous and fun. You need to do sometimes, but you'll be able to do fun because your 5th house of fun is free from Saturn now. But you'll be more committed because of some long-term goal towards to settle your material life. And also you start appreciating consistency. You start appreciating a lot more habits, like good habits, waking up earlier, for example, going to bed earlier, routines. 6th house is routines. You can build amazing routines when Saturn is in your 6th house. Just put your mind to it little by little every day. Wake up 10 minutes earlier this month, next month another 10 minutes, or add up a smoothie. And believe me, you'd build up for life a really good routine when Saturn is in the 6th house. I've seen it from my husband, from people who had Saturn in the 6th house, the best time for it. I was a drug user 20 years ago, 21 years ago. I was a stupid teenager and I stopped when Saturn went into my 6th house. And I never touched after that. I've never had the desire, never had the... It's detachment. The high vibration of Saturn is detachment, to be detached from that. So you can get detached from bad habits. You can get detached even from 6th houses, enemies, enemies and people that are competitors, whatever. You can win when Saturn is there, easier over them through consistency and to overcome other problems and imbalances in your life. So this is the best I can tell you about Saturn in the 6th house, and to really put in order the material side of your life, which is connected to the 6th house, and the routines. Select some routines, follow them. You'd really enjoy them with that transit. But if you want to find out more about Saturn transits, maybe for Saturn in Aries, you're Scorpio, maybe it might, if you have planets in Libra or in Leo or in Capricorn or in Aquarius or Sagittarius, even though you're Scorpio, Saturn is not directly aspecting you, but if you have any planets in the other sign Saturn is aspecting, I cover it in my 3-hour course on Saturn in Aries, in-depth course, and I go through each possible transit. Say, if you have Venus in Sagittarius, Saturn will trine it. Very good for your love life, for example, and I explain it in depth. Very good for regulating appetite and so on. So check out, even if you know nothing about astrology, where your planets are. You just know that, oh, I'm Scorpio. In that video, I explained to you to see where is your Venus, where is your Saturn, where is your Mercury, what degree they are, and if Saturn is aspecting them, when exactly, and what it means for you. Even if it's not in the next 2 years, Saturn will aspect you at some point, certain planets, so you can keep this video for life to use it as a reference. So it's only $12. I'm putting a link below if you want to get that tutorial of Saturn transits.